Hi there, this is a video about explaining some of the words I often use and what I mean by using the words. And also why I always try to tell people that don't invoke the first thing you do, learn to evoke first, and that is contrary to most of the modern books. When you invoke something, you are calling something to become a part of you within your own body, to have access to that power from within you. That's not bad if it's a good entity or a deity or an angel. But especially in the beginning, when you are just looking for results and you are wanting to learn, and you get fooled so quickly. And demons often present them as angels of light. And since, at least in my experience, learning how to evoke, that gives you the training you need. It takes focus. You have to learn. Even if you don't write them out on the floor with chalk or out in the forest or with paint or anything like that, you learn the basics, and you must really learn them in order for them to function. That if you are ever face to face with a demon, that you have the structure to also banish him. And evocation is also the thing that most people fear the most. And that is something that might hinder you if you fear it so much. And in many ways, my view of this is, if you make a prayer to God or to whom you are calling to, then you must also trust that they will protect you and teach you and send the right entity. But you must learn to have the confidence to ask the deity, angel or entity, are you who you say you are? And my magic is by the names of God or in the name of Christ. And but there are so many religions out there, and I know that. And I'm not anti-religious, I can just only talk about what I practice myself, but I'm open to all kinds of things. And there is that change when you do your first evocation. There is that bit of relief. Even if it did fail, something changes within you. And there is that something that you have accomplished something. You went through the veil in a way, since there is all that hard work beforehand. Even if there are very quick versions in Damon Brand's books and so on about quick evocation, and it works quickly once you have done the rituals itself. It works even quicker than in Damon Brand's book. But there is that work, since it's all a replication of what it looks like in the energetic world. So in a way you can explain it like that, that when you draw the different lines of the circle, if you look at the old grimoires, you have not one line, you have multiple. And you have the divine names bedded within the protection. And then you have the triangle outside of the circle, where the spirit is supposed to manifest, and you're protected within there. And since I'm calling on the angels and I'm focused on them, and I also have done the Abramelin and the Enochian purist way, and you don't use circle in either of those. But I still had to learn that, since if somebody is possessed or acting really crazy, or you really want to direct the energy to a point, that is very important to know. If you only visualize things, You don't get that muscle memory as you get as when you are drawing the names yourself, and you are taking a rope and putting in a stick and making it the exact same size. And when you are trying to learn to figure things out, then then it becomes more natural and it's easier to do it. I've actually found myself doing a lot of evocations in my sleep lately. I don't know how that happens, but I just do it. And I wake up and, I wonder, it's kind of the weird reality I'm in right now, that nearly every night I wake up that I'm praying loudly or that I'm doing evocations or calling on the angels while I'm sleeping. And I wake up when they are present, and it's very weird. But this is just like, once you sense that you can do it, and you can do it on your own, that is the best foundation I would like you to get with you, is that learn to do it on your own. There are plenty of people who are willing to help you, but don't fall into traps of people selling things or pushing books or anything like that, since that is something that the popular culture has made it that everybody talks about it, and it's difficult to find a true one. But it's mainly that, and you have all the manuscripts and all the books, all books I've talked about them, and they have the descriptions. And I posted on Instagram what they look like and so on. Since once you have done it, even if it's just a practice run and so on, and you might be learning to visualize or never learn to visualize, as in my case, as I feel it strongly and I can get a glimpse what it looks like when I'm calling upon the angels of air, fire, earth, water and so on. I can feel it and I can see them standing there and so on, but it is just a short glimpse. It's nothing that I do out of visualization. And that gives me the foundation to really let go and be able to go forward with trust and with authority as well. But it takes its times. I knew a man, it took him 7 years to learn to feel the presence of the angels. And he did the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and evoking of that as well every day. And so for some people it's truly hard to begin to open up. And for others it is much more on the other side, that they don't even experience something, but they imagine they are experiencing something. And if you're one of those who naturally astral project all the time, or can visualize very clearly, that might be a sign that you must ground yourself a little bit more into this world. Since it's so easy to get fooled if you're in that fantastical space where everything is happening, but you don't take it down to the earth with you. And with the angels, they enter into this realm, not for talks, but long talks. That is when I make a calling and they connect to your soul and you feel what they are giving for advice to you and so on, and you feel them healing and touching you. But in the real world, they bring you the energy. They can bring down protection. And they can bring down healing and all other things. But you must have the courage to stand there and really shout out through the heavens, through the layers of heaven. And stand there and say, I need you here right now. And I ask that you will be here, standing before me. And even if you get spooked, or you feel energies, it is still that that after you've done it the first time, and you might get nervous, let's say, for 30 more times. And then, of course, later on, I've been spooked years after. But I mean that you gain confidence every time, and every time an angel comes so clear and near you, you change within. And there is something that I feel that whenever an angel leaves, it leaves a bit of the holiness within you. So you learn a little bit, even if you don't understand it, you learn something. And so I basically try to say that you can make an angelical call or make a petition, and that is that you make a request to an angel. That is the first thing to practice with. And then you go to evoking, and then to invoking. Since there are different words for invoking in English. Some call it aspecting, some call it being ridden by a deity, some call it possession. And there are different levels of how much you can invoke. If you're aware of what you're doing, that you're partially in this reality, or you're fully, completely possessed when you don't nothing, or out of it completely. And my main thing is this, that once you have, for example, felt Uriel's loving energy, then you recognize that energy, and you can trust and let him enter into you. But unless you have felt that first, that you really know, and you have asked him, are you truly Uriel, in the name of God, and so on, and the words of power that you use. Spirit can't lie about in that question. And in the New Testaments, they say that, are you the Spirit, and do you believe in Jesus Christ or something? And then the Spirit must answer yes or no. And if they deny Christ, then that's a demon. That's one take. And then we have the different traditions of other worlds, religions. So we have a lot of different views. But I was just looking back at how you become braver and courageous and start to trust yourself once you have done your first evocation. And I'm not talking about evoking demons. I'm talking about having the courage to evoke an angel. And there is a lot of questions. Why is it so hard to evoke angels, and why are demons easier, or dead spirits? And I think it's because with angels you have to go through your heart. You have a lot of these books saying that you just call them and that's their duty. Well, it's their duty to answer to any real call. But you must know that that real call must come from a need, a true need. It can't be just that I want a new TV or I want a new car. It must be something that is truly needed. And that's something the books don't say. They say that buy this book and you will become successful. You will become successful working with any angel, since all of them teaches you something. And you change by every time you call upon an angel. And that builds up you. And that's why I talk about doing something every day. Even if you're concentrating for 5 minutes a day, it's better than 2 hours of meditation. Not many people are able to keep that focus in meditation long enough either. But it must be that clear focus that your heart, mind and soul are truly looking at God, the angels and so on. Since that direct contract opens up your soul to change, and it builds up. And then when it's a true need, or you need to help somebody, all those grueling minutes you put out of your life, those boring rituals when you just ask something quickly and you keep on doing it and it's boring, and yet that's when you find out the truth, what they mean about that must be a daily practice in many ways. Not every day you can take holiday days, but it must become a part of you. Since even if you don't notice when doing angelical calls every day, a quick one, that there is that pure energy that stays within you and around you, that builds up and it inspires you. It opens up your mind and heart, and you start to see the world in a different light. And this is not something you can really read in books. You can read the correspondences, you can study all you want, but it is the work that gets it done. Reading a lot of books without doing the practical things doesn't work. Well, it can be a fantasy, and you can partake in a ritual dressed out in all kinds of things, and maybe there is a good magician, but everybody's living a fantasy life. There is that brotherhood thing, that it is so nice, and it is nice. But sadly, at least what I've encountered, there are great golden dawns and people from there. But there are also those who calls themselves Golden Dawn, who don't belong to the real Golden Dawn, but they take on the name. And this is a little bit of warning about the false groups that are out there. And they mix Aleister Crowley, they mix Regardie, they mix John Dee, they mix Dr. Rudd, Anna Bramelin, and they all say that they are practicing everything at once, and witchcraft also included, and they promise you a lot of things. And they take a lot of money to join, and then when the basis is that you must spend a few minutes every day, and your life will transform. And yes, you will become a different person. You will learn to face your fears, have courage. I don't mean that you are courageous and so on in every second of your life, but you get the courage whenever you need it. You get what you need. And then you also get that inspiration that comes from before you need anything, that you see possibilities where others don't, and there is that beauty, that love, that hope, and then it turns into that many say that I'm awkward when I talk about this. But it is like I'm missing a true friend. I do the Shem Angels every year on the grades and the days they are ruling. And then what happened to me in the last years has often been that I start missing a Shem Angel, since I do it on the grades exactly every year. And then they come just because I'm missing them. And so it's taught me how much the little daily things can change your life, that they actually come and visit you when you miss them. And it is like I say, they are the most loyal friends I ever had, in real life at least. Animals is a different thing, but with humans. So people have laughed when I said that Shem Angels feels like my friends, and I get insulted when people are talking of them in a bad way, since I'm very protective of my friends, and that is quirky or weird according to many, but that's fine. I'm just me, I'm myself, and I hope this inspires you. It's not you must do this or do that. It's more about how I try to explain things. Since I speak in my fifth language, this was the fifth language I learned, so it isn't so easy always for me to find the right words. But I hope that you will get inspired. And if you have any comments, ask them below. I'm so happy to answer, and I love you all. Have a magical, magical day.